Okay, so welcome everyone to this interview with the St Vincent de Paul Society. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of being joined by two people. We have the head of membership, John Cornwall, who's joined us, and who is another person who is far more important, no offence, John, Louise Piper, CC President of Portsmouth Central Council. Thank you for joining us, Louise.
Hello, Alec. Hello, John. Lovely to be with you both.
It's an absolute pleasure.
And I completely agree. Nobody's clapping for me on a Thursday evening. This is entirely about Louise.
There we go. So spot on. So Louise, how are you? Are you staying safe and well? How are things in your world?
I'm very well today, Alec. Have I stayed safe in my world? My world is, I'm going to put it in John's words. He described me the other day as a Vincentian healthcare professional. So my role is a nurse. I'm actually an infection control nurse, which I'm sure you can imagine we're quite busy at the moment with the current situation. So how am I at this moment? I'm feeling good today, but I do have to admit that there are those days where it's been a bit wobbly, if I'm really honest. But today, in this moment, I'm feeling very well, thank you. I'm hoping that everybody that's listening is also keeping well and keeping safe.
Spot on. Well, brilliant. And it's brave in a way of you to admit that, because I mean, many people who always answer that question just say, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." So it's it's good. It's good, but it's not good. We make sense there.
It's honest. It's honest, Alex.
Yeah, that's what we like. So if I could ask you to give us a bit of background about yourself, your involvement with the SVP, any significant parts in your life, just tell us whatever you want.
Okay. Well, I've been involved, or the privilege of being involved with the SVP for probably coming on to about 7 years now, actually. The main influences in my life, very much my mom, who's been an SVP member for as long as I can remember, although I wasn't always aware she was, because it was also secret and we didn't know about it. And also my partner Martin's dad, he was, when he was alive, an SVP member. So I've been, had these great influences in my life. The opportunity came up to start our own conference locally. Thank God it's been incredibly successful, and we're 7 years on, thriving as a conference. For my sins, I was asked if I could be a Central Council President. I say for my sins, but having said that, it's really one of the biggest privileges I think I've ever had in my life. I'm into my 4th year now of my 5-year term. It's been an amazing service to be able to offer. I don't think I've always done it very well, but certainly I've tried my best, and that's the main thing. Definitely at the moment it feels very, very challenging. And again, my partner's support has just been tremendous, and without him in the last few months, I certainly could not have filled any of my duties. He's really stepped up and taken over when my professional life has really had to come first. We're Vincentians. We're told that our family and our professional lives come above our Vincentian work, and I've really had to recognise that. It's not always been easy, not easy to let go, but I am so grateful to Martin for all that he's given over these last really hard few weeks to our society.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful to hear. One of the things that, as you rightly say, we can only give out of what's left after our families and our work take priority, and they should. And I think it's a great example that you haven't tried to burn the candle at both ends. At least you're not trying to do SVP at the same time as burning the candle at both ends. And I think this is an important time for people to. A lot of the members have gone into relative hibernation. They're just doing what they can. There's nothing wrong with that. The other group who it's worth thanking as often as possible are our own support networks, our families, our friends, those people who we turn to when we have had difficult days. And it's lovely to hear you name those people, because it's never just one of us, is it?
I've got my list here, that I was thinking about in preparation for today. It's family, it's friends. As I said, it's very much Martin, and colleagues. We're all caring for each other. And I think certainly what I'm feeling through this crisis is the compassion and kindness real true Vincentian core values are really shining through, and that's been something that's really carried me over these last really hard few weeks.
Yeah.
Wonderful, no, wonderful. I mean, so I live quite close to Reading, in this sort of weird area, which is so many dioceses. So I do end up seeing quite a lot of what happens in Portsmouth, and I've never seen anything bad. And everything I've heard has been absolutely wonderful. So you're doing a fantastic job. To say that right now, you're doing an absolutely fantastic job.
We try. It's a big team. It's a privilege to be a Vincentian, and it's a real privilege as well to be part of the NHS.
Especially now. Anyway, so yeah, if we'll just ask you, what impact is the crisis at the moment, the current coronavirus crisis, actually having on you, as is both in your professional life and in your voluntary in your home life?
Oh gosh, that's a difficult one to answer, Alec. I've already been honest with you about the wobbles. I'm really pleased to say that those wobbly days have become fewer. The gaps between the wobbles have become bigger, so that's been great. Certainly from a professional point of view, I think I speak for all in the NHS and social care, key workers. Who have I missed out? Everybody. I think we're all just working above and beyond right now and doing very, very long days. Certainly for myself, our team are doing 9, 10, even 12-hour shifts. So that has a huge impact on your life when you have to manage other things like your own shopping, your own cooking. As I've said, Martin's my tremendous support. I've had that taken away from me. So I have that luxury of being able to work those long days. You're not only working long days, you're working long days when you're feeling quite fearful at times, and often tearful as well. So you have to keep an eye on yourself. So I think I've kept quite a close eye on myself. I'm perhaps being quite kind to myself for a change, and saying it's okay to have that downtime, it's okay to relax, you don't have to be busy all the time. So being very self-aware that work's taking a lot of pressure and a lot of my time and energy. So when I come home, that's my safe place. And I think I'm really lucky because I do get to go out to work. So when I come home, it feels like our home is giving me a big hug. Whereas I know for a lot of people, they might not be feeling that in their own homes right now. They might be feeling a little bit resentful about having to be at home all the time, maybe even a little bit bored. I'm not bored. I'm very lucky that I'm not bored, and I am given that lovely hug from our home, and I'm very grateful for that. So I'm learning how to relax. I need a quiet place at home. That's something I recognised quite early. The way I overcame missing going, two things I really miss: going to church and going to the pub. So I haven't managed to kind of overcome the pub one, other than obviously having a drink at home, which is lovely. Just in the downtime, I might hasten to add, not whilst on duty and not between being on duty. But the church bit, I've just made a little altar in my bedroom, and that's my safe, quiet place to go. So that's a little bit of self-protection. SVP-wise, it's been really important to me that we've kept in communication. So I've relied on Martin very heavily to do that, to keep in touch with our CC, keep in touch with our members. We've been having lots of Zoom meetings. That's been a tremendous support. Many years ago, I heard about the golden thread of Vincentians, and we've still managed to keep that golden thread of connection, albeit virtually. So that's been really special. Prayer, listening and befriending. Our Diocese of Portsmouth have offered us a listening and befriending service, which I believe is something the SVP is trying to set up as well, with volunteers from each of the CCs. This has been a wonderful resource that I have used. I used it after a shift that finished at midnight, and I just felt, I have no space to pray. I need somebody else to do that for me. And certainly this service was there, and they were able to listen, to ask you similar questions. How are you? How's it going? And then to say, we will pray for you all in the NHS. That was a fantastic gift. We get sent our angels, don't we, at the right time? So for me right now, I feel very grateful. I feel very joyful and peaceful.
Wonderful.
Just to say, it's lovely to hear. It seems like this week more than any, people are happy to talk about the good things that have shined through in such a bad situation. I think for the previous months, people felt uncomfortable about talking about anything positive, while it seemed so desperate. But now people are finding these hopeful stories. They're finding these moments of prayer. We're in Easter, and there are things to celebrate, and there's nothing wrong with hearing about that. And I think that's just great to hear.
Thank you, John. It's interesting, isn't it? I think we're 40 days in now, 6 weeks.
Oh, gosh.
So it kind of feels like Lent has been extended.
It really does. Yeah.
And I think it's really important to acknowledge the sadness. I mean, certainly we've lost people that we know to COVID. We're losing parishioners. There's so much sadness out there, and we're in the grips of so many people in the grips of despair, and that, as a health professional and as a Vincentian, as a parishioner, it's really hard to handle. So I think, as I went back to the beginning, those wobbles are very acceptable and necessary.
Yeah.
We need to allow ourselves that time and space to grieve for those we love, and the times that for now we've lost as well. So yeah. So where I'm at right now, it's a good day today.
Brilliant. Well, I've found it funny in isolation. People, when you fight isolation, it seems worse. But when you sort of accept isolation, you sort of embrace it, and you find that moment for prayer, you find that moment for quiet, and you actually let the silence come to you. Isolation seems so much more manageable. It seems almost like a blessing instead of the curse that it so much seems at the beginning. It's weird. It's weird how it works. Yeah. Anyway.
I agree with you, and it feels a little bit. I was thinking about this today. It's almost like the grieving process. The shock's gone. Maybe the anger that some of us have felt is gone, and then you move into that acceptance stage, and to start to see what you have in this moment as an absolute blessing. I suppose it's about just being in that moment. I've stopped looking ahead, and that's very unusual for me. I like looking ahead and planning, and I've just found that I can't do that at the moment. So yeah, that's been quite a positive, I think.
Oh, wonderful. We'll move on. So is there anything you'd like to ask the SVP to do, which makes a meaningful difference?
Yes. Number one, please pray. And and the prayer that I would ask is that we ask for this virus to go away. So before anything else, if we collectively pray, I really do believe that this virus will be taken away from us. So that would be the first thing. And then to pray for all our NHS workers, social care workers, key workers, and all those that have been affected in any way by this virus, whether that's a bereavement or financial circumstances, to pray so hard, because we're seeing our referrals to SVP ramping up. And we're not in this, we've heard this a lot, we're not in it for the short duration, that we're in the long haul here. So we need to pray, definitely. We need to stay connected and find different ways of maintaining that connection. Obviously, we can do that through prayer. We can do that through technology. We can do it spiritually, just by having maybe a prayer network, or just thinking of somebody and asking them to pray for you. I remember a priest once saying to me that if you ask somebody to do something for you, you're giving them that feel-good factor. So we all, I quite like to be quite independent, but we do need to perhaps let go a little bit and let others help us. Ask for that support, seek that support. Keep safe. We do need to adhere to what the government are telling us. Keep safe. Listen to what we're being advised, and however hard it is, Vincentians have big hearts, but we do have to let our minds just get in the way a little bit here of what our hearts want to do, and actually keep ourselves safe above and as a priority, because if we don't do that, we can't be any good to help other people further down the line. So I think those are the things that I would ask for.
If I could pick up that thought, Louise, it's something that surprised me in the last couple of weeks. I've had people from my life, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, who've gotten back in touch and said, John, you were religious once, or something to that effect. Do you still pray for me?
Yeah.
And I've been saying, well, yes, I have been, still. And I think at this time, yes, you're right. Praying for people absolutely is the answer. But I think telling people you do that as well does make a bit of a difference, doesn't it? It's
could end on it. If I could just share a little joke with you, John, that I think you'll appreciate.
If it's inappropriate, we'll just cut the podcast short.
Yeah, it's appropriate. I had a friend reconnect from America recently for very much the same way. A beautiful connection. She was in a church on her own, and it was during Lent, and she opened her Magnificat, and it said, reconnect with somebody that's touched your life in a faithful way. And I had the privilege that she reconnected with me. And we've been sort of messaging, and then the other day she said to me, I'm going to adoration. She's ever so holy, she's not like me at all, but she said, I'm going to adoration, and I'd like to take your intentions with me. So I shared my intentions: the virus to go away, protection of family, friends, those we love, and those we find it difficult to love. And she texts me back saying, that last one, those that you find difficult to love, will get you to heaven. So I said, I hope so, but just not anytime soon, please. And she texts back saying, I totally get what you mean there. So that was quite funny. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Although you've got to be careful of opening these things and doing the first thing you read. There was somebody had opened a fortune cookie and it said, now is a good time to travel. Yeah, maybe not. Wonderful. Well, I mean, thank you so much for having us. Thank you, Louise, for sharing your wisdom and your insight. Just to say, part of the reason why I've been lurking in this call is on a Thursday evening at 8 o'clock, we think about those NHS workers, those people who we know. There's almost nobody won't know somebody who is serving at this moment. And Louise, for me, you're sort of forefront of my mind in that one. So it's just, I know personally, I want to thank you for everything you've been doing, and I know you must be getting that from every corner of your world. So we've done a podcast now, so that the whole membership can offer that praise and thanks. So you don't have to be quite so embarrassed now.
Oh, well, it is appreciated. You have no idea how many, all NHS workers, all key workers, all social care workers, that clap on a Thursday night, that 1 minute is such a boost, and you just feel held. And so we thank you.
Absolutely. Well, and the clapping is just, for those who don't have the language of prayer, that's their way of doing the same thing. It's the same. And I'm sure God listens to the clap as much as he listens to the prayer.
Wonderful. Thank you. Really appreciated.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Alec.
Yeah, wonderful. No, thank you both for joining. Thank you very much, Louise, and for everything that you do. It is incredibly well. I think the world has finally, England has stopped finally complaining about the NHS and has finally got behind it. So it was about time. It was about time.
It's very humbling. It's as I say, it's a privilege. I'm a very small fish in a very big sea with a lot of wonderful fish swimming around. But it's a very humbling and privileged experience at the moment. But we need prayers to stay strong and to keep the stamina and to keep the energy and to keep well and to be able to do what we need to do, provide that service. Wonderful.
So if you've got one last message to finish on, if you've got a message for anyone out there who is perhaps starting to lose hope, and just got anything to finish us on with there?
Oh, Alex,
put you on the spot. Put you on the spot.
That's a hard one. You have put me on the spot. Where there's life, there's hope. I always think where there's life, there's hope. Where when we go beyond life, there's even more hope. But let's just stick to the hope right now and keep safe, stick together. Keep praying. And if you can't pray, then ask somebody else to pray for you. They will carry you, they will hold you, and you will get that hope back. And it's okay to wobble.
Brilliant. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, and all the best in everything you do, and to all of your colleagues.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's a true blessing. So, ladies and gentlemen, whether you found this podcast through YouTube or you found it through the Well of Hope, please continue to enjoy the other videos and resources that we've created on here. If you are interested in the work of the St Vincent de Paul Society, then please do take a closer look at our website and at the Well of Hope. If you would like to make a donation and you feel that you would like to do that, please do go back to our website. Please also know that you are all in our thoughts and prayers wherever you are and whatever you do, and we ask that you please also keep us in your prayers, and especially these frontline workers such as Louise. So we'll wish you the very best evening and the best of luck and all the blessings.